Welcome, welcome to Cast Pod. And this track is The Maid in the Pocket Watch Blood by Demetori. It's got, frankly, one of the most, I don't know, like, epic songs there is. This intro especially is just incredible. It's been an inspiration for quite a few of my tracks, weirdly enough. Except for that awesome build-up, which I couldn't even do. I also like the weird sort of symphonic sound in the background there. Love this bit in the rhythm too. Yeah, it's just a nice harmonic bit. Not harmonic, harmony. Yeah, it's interesting tones used as well, obviously. It's got more of a rock feel to it, but it doesn't matter. It still feels metal to me. So the drums go hard as usual. Obviously this arrangement itself is always good. It's always good in the Toho tracks actually. It's probably one of my favourites. Even better in my opinion than Bad Apple. I know, sue me. At least. No. I don't know where I was going with that. Bullet Hell maybe. But anyway. Yeah, it's just love this track and there's such interesting parts to it. Interesting like chorus as well. It sort of resolves into a breakdown and solo. The solo itself is awesome. It goes back into the original track, but it goes like a higher route of the melodies. And I fucking love the outro. It's been an inspiration as well for a lot of my tracks actually. I remember doing it for a cover of Honkai Star Rail with Ethereum Wars, and I did it for others as well, but I can't remember what they are now for some reason. But I still tried stuff like this. It's so easy to do as well, that's a weird thing. It just adds so much character to the song. It's just like a small outro sort of thing. Well, technically it's like a minute long in this, but I make mine short and sweet, and that's pretty much the point of them. Yeah, they do work. It does invoke a sort of emotion at the end. Yeah, it's just more Demetori, it's amazing, as usual. Anyway, let's move on. I've got to finish off my Maiden. I almost finished listening to all their albums, just one more after this one I believe. I'm honestly surprised by Iron Maiden, just a quick teaser. It's an interesting topic I might keep brief because, yeah, I kind of need to. I've been thinking about it because, I was thinking about the thing that's in the last podcast with controversies around musicians, and obviously one of them was bringing up something about Marx, I think, Karl Marx. See the person who talked about communism, I think it was. Could be wrong. But it just had me interested because I was thinking, have we ever actually had it where there is no leadership in said or given country, or essentially a place, like going smaller? What about a business? What about a workplace? Because I often wonder, leadership has been around for so fucking long, and it's always been the bane of our existence, no matter where we go. It's been the bane of existence in government, in business, in authorities, in everything. And depending on the leadership you get, you can be heading for certain death. And I just wondered, where the hell, if any, are there any places that don't have it? Like, you just share the pay equally between you, for the workplace. Share the profit equally, and that's that. It just makes me wonder if that even exists. It has to somewhere, right? We've got hundreds of countries in the world, and there's no way that some of them don't do that. It really has me curious. I really want to know if that really exists. It'd be cool, it'd be good to study as well if it does lead to good results. Also, I think people are corruptible, but I think there's a case where, like people working together might be able to overcome the issues. Like if you get fair and equal pay altogether, there aren't really issues. As long as it's not like a hierarchical thing. So obviously, thinking maybe a game development case, there's possibly argument to be made that some people need to be paid more. Sorry, that literally came out of nowhere. I couldn't stop that. But it could be they need to pay more to like a manager or someone in a more stressful position. So I don't know, like voice artists could be paid more, but mostly that's contractors, ain't it? Unless it's in house, but that's pretty rare, I think. But yeah, like there are reasons to pay more. Obviously, it depends on the job. Like construction work, for example, 100% of people who work those in dangerous situations, even with the safety involved, need to be paid more. Because it's a job that does risk your life, so the share needs to be equal there, and then someone who's like managing it needs to obviously not be paid as much. Even though maybe it's a more comfortable job, really. That's what management is. There's less risk of something unsafe there. Because there's obviously a lot of risk of injury, or in rare cases, death. It depends on the country, to be fair. And also violations, whatever you call them. Yeah, I thought that was interesting there to bring up. Also something random and cursed. Has anyone ever noticed how a part of the map of Canada, the Hudson, is it? I can't remember what it's called now. Actually, I need to look. Canada map. Where is it? It was labelled Hudson Bay. That's it. Anyone notice how it looks like a Toho character? What is God playing at here? I wonder. Toho fan, maybe? Very interesting. Very interesting. Right, off to a great start already. To be honest, I had a better sleep last night, but that's not the thing I'm talking about. Actually, it's a post I saw. It's a bit of artwork, which says, it's by Demetori, is it? See? And on the shirt of this person, it says, if you're neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. Yep, I definitely agree with that. It's kind of crazy that people even have this position anyway. If people stay neutral, for example, on something like Trump's war crimes and just everything he's doing that's wrong at the moment, you are just choosing his side. It's the same in the UK when people have just refused to vote. They've let Reform win, which is gonna make their bills higher. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Because imagine the average vote or voting range in terms of each population has to be higher than the numbers I'm seeing. Because there's no way that people have just refused to vote. And what's also annoying is apparently you do get taken off the electoral register, I think, if you don't actually. Well, not actually if you don't vote, I think it's actually if you move. Because I encountered this, which was really fucking annoying. So, obviously, I had to sign up again, and yeah, eventually I got it. This is kind of why it's justice. It's because there's no action, rather. And the silence is causing the inaction. It just really frustrates me every time I see this crap. Every time it's like, you see something bad in the news and nobody reacts to it. It should be more frequent that people actually respond to these issues because there's an absurd amount of silence here. A deadly silence, for that matter. So it just helps no one and it just hurts everyone in the end. Even then, people might bring up something like, oh, maybe it's not worth it because, nothing's going to change. Except that it could change. Then that's the difference. And we know it could change because if we actually had action, as opposed to, inaction, there could actually be proper change. You could actually see your pills go down. You could actually see justice being served properly. You can even possibly see it in a very niche case, a world where the police do their fucking job. Like, it's so dumb. And the thing is, these people also, the people who probably say this, who try to be neutral on things, it can just lead to more of the problems, and yet their inaction again leads to this. It essentially shoots themselves in the foot. It's like, oh, I'm not going to do anything about this. Come the injustice, and then suddenly they're like, oh, why the fuck aren't people doing anything about it? I can't be bothered now. But that's why. Because you just let it happen. That's kind of why I said in terms of something like ICE before. Like, I remember, for some reason Reddit banned me for this, but I said you need to stop ICE whatever means necessary, like slashing tyres. And yet, whilst it is property damage, possibly even illegal, what the fuck else are you supposed to do? Because they're just dragging people off the street, any old person, and by the way, these aren't always ICE officers. Like, you're just supposed to stand there and do nothing? That's ridiculousness of it. That's why, again, inaction and neutrality is taking the side of the oppressor. And also respect to people who have fought back. It's pretty crazy that we don't see that often. Even then, the side of like Scientology raids recently, apparently the teens who've done it keep being arrested. I think there are like different reasons leading up to it. I think there's like previous convictions and stuff. But it is really baffling that somehow, despite what Scientology has done, how culty they are, they don't even get arrested. It's just the teens. Like, it's such an injustice. It's so fucking bad and just immoral. What the hell? And then also the teens have probably got to live with this the rest of their lives. They're probably like 18 or 21 or 23. And they have this on their record for the rest of their lives, which isn't helping anyone. And then the cost of living crisis gets worse. Not necessarily because of just them. They are in a minority here, to be fair. It's like people who take suit and try to do the right thing, the moral thing here, get punished for it. So yeah, it is literally damned if you do and damned if you don't. But I'd argue that there's more goodness to the damned if you do part. I could be wrong. I'm willing to be proven wrong. That's where I stand on it. But anyway, I need to take a course of shit now because my bowels are about to explode. Let's just think about this recently with a recent post by Dr. Simon Clark. It's a short actually. It's about the environmental, rather land use of the UK. Basically summed up into portions. I think by percentage? If I'm not mistaken, a surprising amount of golf courses. Which is unexpected. I didn't really think people cared. I don't think I've ever been to a golf course, so I don't really want to. It's just fucking stupid. I never really liked golf. It's just dumb. Even didn't really like mini golf, to be fair. I tried that. Then again, I did try golf in school. They actually gave me the opportunity to do that. And they told me to watch the movie Happy Gilmore, which was, I think it was alright. I think I liked it. I can't remember much though. Yeah. For some reason I thought I was making a clip for my channel. No, I'm not. No, what was I saying? So yeah, the land usage, and in the comments immediately there's someone saying, for all the non-vegans you have to go with poultry as the most sustainable option. Which, again, is just major yikes, because that isn't the case as far as I'm aware. And the problem is, it doesn't age well, because it's not ethical to even have quote-unquote poultry. No such thing. Because simply it's just a very unethical practice. You know, selective breeding, there's obviously the case where they don't see the light of day, because that's the nature of that industry. It's just inherently evil. And it just made me wonder You know, as I've also tried to debunk the vegan stance and even veganism, you don't really, well, you can't really, because it's just more like a claim. But I think the reasons you choose to pursue veganism, the philosophy, is completely different to everything else. And so it becomes more about what are the consequences in these positions, if any. And in general, there's probably a lot more when it comes to the the consumption of animals and whatever else there's environmental concerns which still exist for chicken as far as I'm aware. There's concerns about well, ethics obviously and the way animals are treated. That's always going to happen in that shit. It just happens. It's not really avoidable because again the big enabler here, which I always have to mention, is the consequence, among many other consequences. So it's unhealthy, it's bad for the environment, it's bad for climate change, even chicken is. I think from what I've seen in all the studies, these are charts anyway, I've seen so many things about it that are bad. And really the big kicker there, I guess, is there is hardly any positives. Even taste is becoming a very outdated sort of argument for this, because that's not even the big point even then. The bigger point there with taste is often about the seasonings. The fact that I can give people a plant-based alternative, either meat or dairy or not necessarily eggs, is kind of a weird one where there isn't really any sort of eggs. Obviously, backyard hens the way to go, but obviously selectively bred better. But also, it's just bad to buy from the farm as well. I think so. It has to be like rescue. But yeah, uh, eggs are the hardest thing I've found to actually like on the plant-based diet. Obviously, it's been the most difficult one to not necessarily tolerate, but just find something good. But again, taste is not even a good argument for animal products at that point. And the only reason that people feel an appeal towards them is because every single fucking place uses it. Like everything. You go to a fast food chain, it's always got that. Even though I don't agree with fast food chains, it's always got animal products in it somehow. You go to a restaurant, animal products again. You go to a cafe, animal products. And somehow, this happens, but you can even go to more general stores and supermarkets where the section's obviously not related to specifically food, and it's got unethical, unsustainable products. So again, there's all these consequences that you have to weigh up compared to a plant-based diet, which I'm not trying to misrepresent if there is anything. I'm somehow misrepresenting, but there are a few consequences. Health is better. Environmental cost is better, also it depends on what you do anyway. But most of the time it's generally fine. For the average plant-based diet, even the plant-based alternatives can be tasty. And oftentimes as well, you'll encounter less issues in the workplace, even though they do exist under sort of vegan lifestyle or plant-based diet, because of obviously the products you purchase. It happens more with animal products because they have these issues like when they are farming them or slaughtering them, where it just disassociates them and desensitizes them to these very horrific acts. And then they start to do these horrible things to the animals, which is where we get these like, what was the farm thing? I can't remember that farm thing where they abuse their calves, but that's where that happens. It enables it. It starts with exploitation. Then begins with a vulnerability. So someone takes advantage of it, and then it just gets out of hand, like what we've seen that. And that's why we have this footage anyway. It's because people have taken advantage of this situation, be it for money or for anything else. That's usually profit as well. And that's where you get that shit from. So no, there isn't no ethical consumption there. It just doesn't exist. could be wrong, but again, in the vegan lifestyle, vegan plant-based diet, whatever, like, it's far better. Because at least then it's only restricted to humans, and then the animals are not. There's no animals to be abused. Unless it's obviously animal testing, that's another issue entirely. There are even sadly points where you can't exactly get rid of it. So that's often a sad point with that. Trying to figure out what else there is. God, my mind's blanking again. Sleep deprivation. Well, ironically enough, health, is much better a plant-based diet, because apparently there's even studies going into the ultra-processed part, which is mainly what people would be looking at anyway, because even though it's not entirely cheap, it is still a good alternative. It should be treated as a treat. You still got great things to use with it, even if it's not good. You got seasonings, you got sauces, and even then it's still somewhat healthier than just a whole foods plant-based diet. Even the animal-based diet, although the whole foods plant-based, you only get the benefit of eating very healthy things, which can be a bad thing because it can make you underweight if done wrong, and there's also just concerns around nutrients and calorie intake. That's the main thing with those. Weirdly enough, I don't see people talk about it enough, but that's mainly why I don't do it. Because I've tried it before and it's horrible. You need to find ways to fill yourself up, and that's not fun at all. It's not worth doing it though, often. But, a processed diet with including processed foods is fine. Even then, you just eat what you like, try things. Like red lentils, for example, great alternative to beef, and somehow it can even be an alternative to chicken, because it actually smells like KFC. I'm not even fucking joking with that. I literally thought my housemate, when I first discovered them, made or bought KFC roll. He was the type of idiot to do that, sadly. Cooking red lentils, and it's like, oh, that smells nice. What the fuck is it? It's red lentils. I've had them before, but I had it during COVID when I had that, and yeah, I hated the texture and smell because I couldn't smell anything. So it gave me the weirdest fucking taste in my nose. Yeah, I forgot I could be doing mini games here. Excuse me. What else is there? I'm trying to think. Health, environment. It's a taste of what I've gone into. I could share a little anecdote with the taste thing. I bought a sauce from this guy from the supermarket. It's a sauce shop brand, and I like their buffalo sauce. That's great. And also, it's vegan. But I've also tried it yesterday, the original hot sauce, and holy fucking shit, it reminds me of kebab chili sauce. But it's actually really nice. It's spicy. I had like a dip of my tongue in it, and it's like, oh boy, that's a number. I didn't expect that. But yeah, that's what I mean with seasoning it. It's literally just a case of keeping things balanced as well. I tried to do like a sort of like 25, 50 split, I guess, in terms of food. So, got one processed thing, which is like the meat alternative. Got the carbs, which can be like 50% of it, I guess, as long as it's somewhat healthy and not like deep fried chips or anything. Air fried's probably better. I do air fry mine. But then you also got the vegetables, which are what's important. So it's just a basic meal. And lunches I don't really track anything much on, because I just don't really bother with it. Just have noodles and crisps. Even then, there's a bunch of carbs. Sometimes vary it up with a sandwich, or sometimes it's like a proper meal, but shorter. Again, it's about balance in that case. But once again, the other thing, that's the other benefit. Remember, It's about looking better in the face of history. Because with everything going on at the moment, I think the worst thing we can do is revert back to a state where we treat animals poorly, and we obviously we do that anyway because of industrialization and efficiency. But we could be treating everyone so much better, say animals included. And it's a shame that this isn't really done, isn't really addressed in that case. Because it genuinely feels like we need that sort of intervention, but it's such a bad thing to have when, in the face of history, it just we look terrible because of what we do to animals. Like, holy fucking shit, it's nuts. I cannot understand the logic behind it, to be honest, of why we do it to begin with. Um, and I just dislike where obviously that comes from. What do I even say here? This, I hate to use like an equivalency here, but it's almost like what we're doing to animals is probably one of the worst things we could ever had in history. So there will be some points where people realise they make the connection that animals are just living beings like everyone else, like our dogs, like our cats, and I think the burden of that, of having used and abused animals so much, will no doubt just weigh heavily on everyone because that's the nature of it. You do something awful to an animal for your own pleasure, that's going to look bad in the face of history. Same way that we've enslaved people, it's going to look bad. Like, yes, you get the benefit of never having to work again by having a slave, but the slave is going through hell for this, for your own amusement and your own pleasure, seemingly. Also, it's not ethical, that's why we don't bring back the fucking slave trade, which is what billionaires want nowadays, by the way. Yeah, always keep that in mind. This is exactly what I mean. How does it look in the face of history, and what can we do to prevent it? Exactly. As far as I'm aware, there are plenty of ways to prevent it. It's just that people don't want to listen. Where we get the dangerous aspect there. People prefer not to be honest with each other and try to deflect or try to make it out that there's nothing wrong. Like, it's just nuts. There's a lot of mental gymnastics, as usually called. Try to jump over every fucking loop and bound there is. There's even sort of my challenge to someone like Most Critical, for example, who just notoriously has some low quality videos every now and then on topics, and he's not obviously well read up on these things. Well, that's a problem, but sometimes people assume they are the experts in something, again, because they're talking behind the screen. I'm certainly not. I'm willing to be proven wrong. It's always been my disclaimer there. I'll put things out there for discussion and potentially solutions. Again, it's important to be proven wrong. It's a demonstrable evidence that speaks, not the want to see something go your way. And also when, like Charlie, for example, does these stupid food rankings, like, what the fuck are you doing? This is what causes the place to become a hellhole for everyone else. It's capitalism in a full swing, and that burger morphine thing that happened, quite an obvious bait that was, and yet people still sucked up to it as if it's like the most correct thing to do. Right. That's where we're at. Well, shit. What else is there? I can't even think, to be honest. Mine's not pointing today. But yeah, I'm consistently frustrated by this. Again, people put up these barriers and walls and to make any old excuse to avoid admitting where they're wrong and being changing, or rather having to change their diet, because obviously you have to do that to care for the animals, and that's the other thing as well. One of the things I realise is you also, because this has been said a lot, no doubt, But you can't be an animal lover and eat animals, consume animal products, because this goes all ways, believe it or not. So, in health is obviously harder, but I think there are weird enough things that can benefit animals through that. Also, being healthy yourself makes your animal worry less. Whoever have like a pet or looking after animals, you've always got that. So you look after your health a bit better. And there's something like, because animals can detect health, I think, as well. Depends on the animal, I think dogs can. Environment, ecosystems, and the land use. And obviously, we need to get rid of animal farming. But that's generally better for the animals too. So wildlife to benefit from it. So less emissions, less punishment from that essentially. It's really important to address those things. That's why it is something to address even. Um, there's just so many benefits to these sort of things that it does always seem like it's too good to be true. As I say with animal farming, there is literally a case where just eliminating the thing entirely is better for the ethical side of things. It just makes you a better human being by default. So not the best human being, because I've seen my fair share of, bigots in the vegan movement, even the ones that do care about animals, but I think that comes from a misanthropic view towards humanity, which in itself is it's a mixed bag, obviously. It's not always the best thing. Sometimes that can be to a detriment, and yeah, not much you could do about that, I don't think. But there's a thing called dystopia as well, so it's also like caring about other humans too. That's an aspect too that's not really discussed, which is interesting. But it also cares about humans too, to do that. So, other than health, it inspires people, I think. It's kind of like have a slight celebrity worship in the movement itself. Again, it benefits so many areas and so many people. And it also probably clear up a lot of things too, like mentally. It gives you clarification, it makes you a bit smarter, especially as you get into supplements and stuff. I know when I started taking omega-3, my mind just went, wow, what the fuck? I've never had a mind like this before. Before I was really selfish and stuff. But then I started to show empathy and started to get into supplements, and that actually changed things. I only take veg one and I think it's DHA, omega-3, it's algae oil. It's like so many benefits. Just kind of crazy to think about. Honestly, it's a no-brainer when I see the option. When I've even tried to debate this again, there's actually no reason not to turn to a plant-based diet in this day and age. That's just ridiculous. That's really a no-brainer there. Yeah, I don't really know what's out here. Oh, that's essentially it. So yeah, people really need to be honest. That's the point here, because it shows greed and corruption when people just ignore these things, ignore these aspects. Again, the health benefits pretty irrefutable. Environmental benefits irrefutable again. Ethical benefits again pretty irrefutable. And it's not something I'm saying just to again falsify the argument. It's actually written. It's everywhere. Like, for fuck's sake, it's crazy. And then you've also got this other side which I'm just minding to look at my YouTube subscriptions. With, what's his name? Danny O'Shea. He makes some great shorts, and there's already this new short called Red Flags and Guys. I'll watch that after this, but I can already see where it's going. So, first one says, does not drink milk. So, drinks oat milk rather. Yeah, this is another thing as well, that you get these info types and just bigots in general who make a big deal out of what's essentially nothing. Like, a guy who doesn't drink milk It's probably either milk allergy or milk intolerant, or lactose intolerant. So what the fuck are you even saying? That's what I mean with this. You separate yourselves from complete idiots, and then you go towards people who are more intelligent. Also, I've seen more progressive politics from vegans that have leftists, which is weird. It's supposed to be obviously the other way around, according to people. I've seen it compared to, well, obviously the stats of veganism compared to Nazism. Not just because of apparently Hitler being vegetarian, which I don't think was even proven. It's because of the way that people view it. They view it as like a cult. They view it as some sort of stance where it seeks to deprive people. And that just isn't the case. Well, if you do anything in the movement, you actually hang out with people, even undercover. It's nothing like that. So this just ends up being false. And also, that is like the biggest red flag. And then people who just do these gender stereotypes where they think men eat meat, but you don't fucking have to. I've seen more jacked men on a vegan diet than have the meat diet ruined enough. Even then, it's those that by account. So from a health point of view, it's like, again, a no-brainer. So you just get healthy from that. It's just, I don't even know what to say. There's pretty much every argument in favour of this, and people just don't listen. Anyway, I don't have anything else to say from that. It's a hot topic. But yeah, so let's move on. So it's like concerning that came to mind earlier that amidst the stress I'm experiencing, because I thought I was going to have a decent day today, but no. Apparently, even though it said I got a bit of sleep, but let me double check again. I swear it's misreporting it, I swear I have more. But I keep waking up at like 5 in the morning, say, or 4 o'clock at some point, to something. I think it's the light in my room. I don't know how though, because it is pretty dark still. It's not bright enough to be like, oh, okay, it's day. It never is. It's so weird to me because I don't know what it is, but on top of that causing me issues and like sleep deprivation, obviously. I'm also having to contend with other stupid shit, like people not telling me when they're coming in or who's coming in, for that matter. I don't always know. But there is another weird thing I noticed about myself specifically, about why the fuck am I still here exactly, as in just living. I don't understand it. And I try to think long and hard about what's actually binding me to the world as it is. So I could be doing something useful, like killing myself, just being less of a nuisance and less awkward. But I feel like that's also the selfish way, and that was the realisation I had. It is kind of selfish in its own way. It's just doing something for your supposed benefit or favour or whatever it is. I don't even know how moral that is. So compare, well, sort of say these things through morality rather than some sort of motive. But it's also just a case where I don't know whether people want me around or not. So it's really difficult. It's like, am I just going to make people sad if I go, or am I just going to make them happy? It's hard to say. I just do not understand it. This is something that hotlines ironically wouldn't even address because it's more of a logical question rather than my mental health getting me down. I just don't know what the answer is exactly. People seem to think there is an inherent value of me, but I don't see it. It just doesn't seem to exist in my head, no matter how far I look, no matter how honest I am either. It just doesn't seem to exist even now. For example, I'm experiencing sensory discomfort in that I had diarrhea this morning and happened twice, but I only went twice, with the third time being, oh, you're constipated now. Like, I'm fucking suffering from that shit. And yet, for some stupid reason as well, I have a lingering smell. Where it's from? No idea. I don't even know. Like, this is a thing, I've asked for a bidet, so if it is my arse, then I don't know. Like, because if it's not my arse, then what is it? But I cannot figure out where this smell comes from, so... It's like, what? I need to check my emails again, because I did message someone about this. I'm trying to get essentially a bidet at some point. Well, not at some point, but just any time. I really want this to fucking happen. But whether I get listened to or not is just another question. It really depend on who's listening and what they can do. So if things not looking great where we are locally, it's also a concern because I won't have these issues addressed, and if people are complaining about the aspect that I don't know, like I've got smells or I've got too many issues or I'm not socialising enough, like, why the fuck do you want me here then? I don't fucking get it. There has to be something, and then people just don't say what it is. It really frustrates me. I just have no clue. It genuinely doesn't make any sense. Every time I look at this, it never adds up. I just can't figure out what's going on. I'm here for whose benefit exactly, and why should I also care? Because I think the only ones I'd never keep myself here rather for their benefit is probably corporations. Fuck no. I'd rather they die than me. But it's just fucking... I don't know. It just really frustrates me every time. I just don't know what the solution is here. I'm struggling to figure it out. Again, I just feel like suffering is just all I'm here for. And again, this thing that happened earlier really proves it. It's like the lack of care is very apparent here. And, yesterday, I didn't have any support because nobody messaged me. Nobody told me they were coming in. Or someone who did see you come in, but I didn't know if they were support or not because it's hard to tell. Luckily, at least for the most part, my housemates aren't people who have parties here. Whereas the other one would kind of have that. Have a friend come over or something. As in M. People are probably aware of M at this point. Mentioned him so many fucking times. But that's the issue. And I get stressed out because of it. What do you fucking expect? How are you feeling today? I'm stressed. What else do you expect from me? When you're doing shit that purposely makes me stressed out. I just don't get it. I think it's also due to make some do my hobbies rather. I'll make some, but continue my hobbies today. And I wanted to complete a lot of things today, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. My music I only managed about 5 minutes. Been playing Final Fantasy 14 most of the time, and then artwork I managed an hour luckily of that, but that was only because I had wait times, so just did choker racing until the daily reset. Speaking of which, there's another thing that needs to do. Well, yeah, I'm pretty much done most weeklies here. Again, it's a daily struggle when it comes to these issues in my life that really shouldn't be issues. Genuinely just doesn't make any sense. I feel like a lot of these things are addressable, but then if they're not, who? Where is this going to be said? Who's going to say it? Because this is just fucking unacceptable. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm not being told a reason they cannot message me. That's the thing. I like to be told, I like to be planning ahead about these things, because it's important. It absolutely needs to happen, because I get stressed out when it's not planned ahead. If someone just arrives at my door doing something, I don't know, asking if I want to do something, I don't fucking want to. I'm busy at the moment. He didn't give me time to prepare, and even then, sometimes it's very quick when I do get the messages. I'm not even ready then. I don't even know. And obviously, because of all this, I can't get my appointments. I literally had some fibre gel today because of the constipation. Don't know where it came from. Again, it leaves me worried increasingly. Again, that's really the big question of this segment, really. What is exactly keeping me here? Like, why should I be kept here? It's a question that's constantly on my mind. I don't know what it is. Yeah, so I don't know. It's really something that people should be maybe discussing if it's possible. Again, it's weird, but it's every time I get into a state, I can't help but think the only solution is suicide. It's all that the road that leads to, like, and I don't know, it's what. Um, there's no solution, no treatment either. And whether even something to try, like a treatment. I don't know, would I try it? Hard to say, because once again I've tried different things. I've tried at least 4 different medication for the depressive state, and obviously two of them actually kind of address the other things, like OCD and stuff. But it just it's not worth it. It doesn't work for me. In that time, I tried to compare what I'm like with being on the medications I was on compared to now, and I was more miserable on the medication because the medication made me miserable. It's either a side effect or the actual intention. I don't know. Um, so no idea really. Uh, yeah, I don't know what else to answer to be honest. Hopefully it can be answered. So let's move on. Well, I've got a positive thing to talk about. It's called Dungeons and Degenerate Campers, and you're not going to see any gameplay. It's worth watching my funny moments for it. And there's also the chance that my point of view and review, rather brief first impressions, not review, could change. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I do think that I'm having a lot of fun. Yeah, it's only the beginning at this point. I do find that there's some really interesting elements to it so far, and I've only gotten past Louis Lounge. It's my first ever run with this, and I'm already just having a blast with enough. Just a stark contrast to something like Infinity Sweeper, which I genuinely didn't enjoy. It's so interesting because I'm not a card game sort of person. I can tolerate them for their. And I'm not even a roguelike sort of person, but this is actually making it fun. It makes it interesting as well in terms of how random it could be. And where it's obviously really special is that it just has a good sense of humour as well. You can do different events, you can either challenge like NPCs or something. You can get free cards and stuff, and it's generally pretty cool. And even then, the matches that I played have been interesting. The toughest one probably being the manager, who had 100 health, I think. Was it 60? I can't remember now. But it definitely ramps up a bit of the, not so much difficulty, I guess, but just, your opponent, who obviously matters to an extent. But the cards you choose don't always mean that you're gonna be like 100% successful. There's still like a lose state. So it's not even a frustrating one either, because you start with 100 health. I'm hoping you get upgrades later on, because I don't see any increases. But the cards I chose were quite fun. I found like the pie the pie card. It's just a number pie, and then I found a jack of all trades. I found a is it sleeve card. I also somehow got from a one of the memory test events a double-sided card. It's just the back, but on both sides. I was really confused about that. I thought I saw a bug. But I actually revealed another one by accident. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And I got something else from that. I think it's like -4 diamonds or something. But there's some really interesting cards, and you also have these like roguelike element cards. So I've got a get out of jail free card, which is going to be pretty much invaluable, I think. So, forces a tie. So whenever you draw that, obviously, if you've lost like the match, because you're playing blackjack. I forgot to mention this. The core gameplay thing is blackjack. You have to get your points to 21. But there's also cards with like exploits. There's cards with on stand, which I'm not sure if that's like when you draw it or what. I'm a bit confused about the terminology in this. It's the only thing that's got me so far. It also says like on exploit, but I don't know. I think that's just a click thing. Because when I clicked on my one of my special jack cards, it was a different one. It did something to the opponent. I think it was like 5 damage or something. I also have a card that slashes the health for 3 damage. Which yeah, can be a bit of a game changer early on. It's not massive though. But, I had fun. It's a good sense of humour. There's a lot of funny moments in that. Yeah, in some of the events as well, I remember choosing to just do things, anything but playing blackjack, and I slept on the floor. Like, fuck, it's just so interesting. You restore health for that as well, but I don't know if it costs more to maybe do the others, so maybe it's like both a joke and a sort of a tactical thing. But yeah, I have enjoyed it. It's surprising actually. There's only 30 minutes of gameplay. Weirdly enough, before this, I was 25 minutes rather. Before this, I was just going through my own hellish mind state. Unsure whether I want to live or die, and this just kind of like distracted me from it. At least in the meantime. See if things could change. I'm surprised again. Well, it seems decent so far, and I'm surprised the reviews are like 90% positive, I think in recent, and 83% overall. I reckon that might be because of bugs, but I could be wrong. I didn't read the reviews before going into this because I just thought, you know what, it's in the bundle. Let's play a bundle or whatever you call it on Steam. What do you actually call it? I don't know now. By the way, I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the game, and I will probably review it. Yeah, as I said, most of the clips will appear in funny moments, assuming that it lasts, obviously. There's always a chance it might not. I can already see one issue perhaps being playability. Because there is a collection in it, so obviously you collect all the cards, but I don't know how viable that is exactly. So like, if you miss one card on one playthrough, that means you could miss it forever. So without an obvious way to get this, to get the cards that you need, it's kind of a bit defeated on that purpose, because there's no point replaying it just for a chance. So I'm hoping that has been addressed. Yeah, overall it's just fun. There's not much else to say on it, to be honest. Yeah, I think I'll move on now. I also need to record the intro. I just found out something really stupid about Crohn's disease. Because obviously I suffer from this. Because I'm going through a really bad bout of constipation at the moment. I started in the morning with diarrhea twice. The smell hasn't left for some reason. So I have no idea where that is. It's hard to say because it goes everywhere. It's like, I literally need like a full body fucking shower to get rid of it, but I don't know. I'm trying my best with what I got, but again, I don't have the things I need. So, what the fuck am I supposed to do? But yeah, I've come down with constipation. It's weird how the two just happened in the same day. My theory is that it's probably both the fact I got a flare up and also I've had a lot of fibre, I believe. Because I had, like for 2 days in a row, I had a pasty, crisps, hummus. So, like, it's not even high fibre, to be honest. So I don't know why, but that's weird. But there's also what I had for dinner, which is I tried to make a cheeseburger pasta, which is also not high fibre. Let me double check. Maybe pasta is high fibre. Is pasta high fibre? There's no way it can be. Okay. These are just suggesting brands. What the fuck? I'm just asking a question. For fuck's sake. Same thing. I wish I could fucking block more sites on this fucking thing. Might as well go back to Google at this point. Into pasta, chicken pasta. No, again, that's not what I want. Is pasta high fibre? Is wheat pasta high fibre then, I guess? More pressing question, like, what is it? Semolina, isn't it? Semolina. High protein, high fibre. Okay, so that answers that. That may be why I have it then. And the fact I had a big batch probably doesn't help. But I'm not sure what to do exactly because given that it's already high fibre in itself, like, what am I supposed to eat? I really do not know, and it does make me worried because there's no solution for this. I've looked it up because I was curious why I was getting constipation, and the sources I found suggest that fibre intake is probably the reason why that I'm getting constipation, according to Crohn's colitis. But that's apparently because it can cause a blockage or something. I had no blockages before that, really. As I have, and then I just wasn't aware. But then, the weirdest thing about this is it supports the idea that I need to be low fibre. Because they suggest that as a way of unblocking it. But how do I do that? I've got a bloody oat breakfast tomorrow. I don't even know if chocolate counts as like high fibre, low fibre either. I don't know if these crisps count as low fibre. It's hard to fucking say. The thing is, there's fibre everywhere in my diet, and I guess I need to look at low fibre plant-based foods because it has to include some things. Right. Let's see. These are okay. Fibre. It's just as colitis and IBS. Low fibre veg, potatoes, carrots, beets, asparagus, avocado, ripe, string beans. I hate string beans. Acorn squash, what the fuck is that? Spinach, puree, lettuce, if tolerated. Mushrooms, tomato sauce, see the smell. That's not right, because I've had tomato sauce. So that's probably incorrect. I don't know if that even works, does it? Cucumber, I've had that as well. But I don't know if the seeds were in it, I don't think they were. Now pureed peas have tolerated, and fruits, fruit juice, cans. Fruit juice is supposed to be high in fibre though. It's just a fucking AI post. July 28th, 2020, okay, so I don't know. It's weird. Unless I just don't know what these things are. Bananas, ripe. Cantaloupe, sounds like an animal. Peaches, cherries, plums, papayas, nectarines, watermelons, honeydew melon. Something I don't like most fruits. I can like some vegetables, but not most fruits. Fibre cereals, white bread of. Eh? Bread's high in fibre. Am I missing something? This just seems really inaccurate. Spelled nutritiously, what the fuck? High in starch but low in fibre. I'm not fucking interested in starch. What are these things? Oh, there's rice, tofu. I know tofu is potatoes without skin, avocados, cucumber without skin. Oh, the other one suggested no seeds. Like what? They don't even know. Pumpkin puree, zucchini, applesauce. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? It genuinely just doesn't make any sense. This is a thing though. It doesn't even mention processed food, so it's like a Beyond Burger, which I had in the past, obviously, it's a cheeseburger. Supposedly supposed to be high fibre in it. I guess it's not. So this is foods more Mayo Clinic. Use these foods. Oh, these aren't vegan foods, what the fuck? Idiots. Have these options for low fibre requirements. Just as a bunch of things, grains, limit whole grains instead, choose white breads, bagels, crackers, and pasta. That's not right then again. I don't know what even is caused this. I guess stress then, because if it's pasta that's actually high fibre, low fibre, that should be fine, right? But I just need like quick relief, and I've tried fibre gel. It's not doing anything so far. I'm a bit scared to even try more, because apparently that's not good for it. Just struggle with seeing how. Yeah, like this is just pain though, because I go to the toilet and nothing comes out. So like maybe a few drops, but that's it. It's just, it's painful. I don't know what to fucking do, and then there's things in this house that really piss me off, so it adds to the stress. It also feels like nobody actually cares. Like, I actually just gotta write something to thingy quick, because I need to get this sorted as soon as possible. It's just really annoying. I need quick relief, not fucking slow relief. I just can't understand what's wrong with laxative at this point. Yeah, I'm seriously struggling. And I do get a lot of like bloating and indigestion as well, which I never used to have, by the way. So it seems like eating healthy is like the bad thing for me, which is crazy. I just need to eat less healthily then, which I don't know, could be a good thing. I'm just trying to think of like low fibre things, and I will ask about that as well, but again, I'm not too sure. Because I feel like. Wait a minute. Is it the high fibre that's causing that? I think I just realised something. Something really big here, a big implication. Because, again, there's graphic detail in terms of poop. But my store never comes out right. It's never in sausage shapes, it's never in trails, well, sometimes it is, but it's rare. But it never comes out properly, ever. And I'm wondering if, because of the flare-ups as well, is it possible that the reason that my store comes out sticky and I guess tarry is like, or pasty, I don't know what you would call it. It's just weird, it's like trying to describe texture, like a cake mix essentially, but it really sticks. That's a horrible analogy, I know, but that is literally what it does. I'm wondering if that's because I am actually on a high fibre diet and have been trying to be. Which is slightly concerning as well, because obviously I need to get like multivitamin support for that. Yeah, that's like concerning. It's just weird actually, like, what? And me trying to be fucking healthy, and it turns out I can't be healthy because the healthy option is unhealthy. It's so fucking weird. This is like pain or something. I literally had a stomachache after going earlier because I was trying to squeeze it out. Because there's nothing else I can do. It's just really uncomfortable for me. I remember constipation I've had before, which is like similar to this, weirdly enough. It'd be like I'd be sat on the toilet for like hours at a time because nothing would happen, and it feels like something should happen. But then I fucked up my nerve ends or something, and it feels like I have to do something. I've literally like gone shopping with that feeling inside me, and it's been awkward as fuck. I've been exhausted too. There's just so much straining in it, and somehow it hasn't opened up officially yet, at least as far as I know. It feels close to it, and I know I'm gonna feel it eventually because I do get a feeling every now and then when I do try that. But it just gives me a sharpish sort of pain inside. But it's inside rather than outside, which is a weird thing. So yeah, I just felt like ranting about this because it is really fucking annoying. Jesus Christ, I just want to be left alone by this bloody thing, and if there was a operation to get rid of this shit, or maybe not operation but treatment, I'll probably try it, because I just want to get rid of this. I'm so frustrated with it, I ain't got much to lose anyway, you know, even with a risk of potentially dying. I don't know, I don't know anymore. It just genuinely makes me worried because there's nothing that can help at this point. Anyway, I'll move on. So I ain't got much else to say. Sort of reminded of this, weirdly enough, because of a controversy I looked into, which is the Iron Maiden, well, Iron Maiden's Bruce Dickinson. And, you know, I try not to look, really, because I'm worried I might find something I don't like about someone who I'd otherwise, you know, respect and obviously love for being a talented artist. Luckily, Bruce isn't a bad person, it seems anyway. But there was a controversy in that where at an Ozfest apparently there's like a big clusterfuck with Sharon Osbourne trying to sabotage Iron Maiden's set, and apparently I can't remember if it was Sharon or Ozzy himself who took issue with the British flag that Bruce was waving around, and apparently it's actually a flag from one of the wars, a Crimean flag. I'll look it up. It's Dickinson flag. Because that's probably the first thing that comes up. Yeah, it looks like an old as fuck flag though. Um, I'd imagine it's like less to do with like obviously patriotism and more to do with history. So I don't really got a flag. Trooper, Union Jack, Train Life Edition of the South, Flavor. There's a controversy. In addition, Osborne claimed that the flag waving during the trooper was disrespectful to American troops at the time fighting alongside the British in Iraq, even though Dickinson had always held a Union flag during the song, based on the Battle of Balaclava during the Crimean War. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Um, it does seem a bit off-putting, but at the same time, it's kind of like, yeah, kind of makes sense, I guess. Like, let me look at the Crimean War. What was it between? A lot of paintings. Remember some of those. What the fuck? That's a flashback. Um, was I British in this? Oh yeah, there was. Yeah, there they are. Bloody Brits, ruined everything. Um, yeah, it's interesting. I wish I could relearn history, although even this part of history is fascinating. Um, yeah, like that's the thing with flags. I say that I wouldn't be patriotic, and that is true. But I don't want to be patriotic to a country. I want to be patriotic to humanity, which is a different thing on Earth, rather. So I guess the flag that I'd wave, and the only one I could wave, would be the one about planet Earth. The one that represents humanity, for that matter. So maybe it's like a... Wait, isn't that already an image? Like people surrounding Earth, like holding hands. It's like a cutout sort of thing around Earth. It's like a ring. But that would be like the perfect flag if that isn't already a thing. I swear it exists. But I guess that would be the flag I wave. Not the fucking Union Jack, not the St. George flag. No, nothing like that. That's the only thing I'm patriotic towards, I guess. It's not that I'm necessarily proud of it, it's just, this is our home. genuinely will here to survive, and I'll do it by whatever means necessary. But we also have some of the beauty of what humanity is born, what evolution is born, of being able to remove like bad things from other things. You know, we can treat animals who are suffering. We can help animals who are suffering. We can help a lot of things and a lot of people. And that's again probably the only point to be prideful of. Not the things that just make it worse, like war, like just stuff like this. Even the controversies, the pointless arguments and stuff. It doesn't make sense. I think that's where I stand on that. To be honest, it's just really a thing towards putting things right, essentially, for humanity, and also for any extraterrestrial visitors we may have. I also wanted to send the message that there's groups among us humans who seek to do harm, but there's loads of us, like myself and no doubt plenty of others, who don't want to cause harm. Instead, want to welcome any visitors, any neighbours, and even help them. Like, that honestly demonstrates more than anything else. People say the message of peace is like weak and stuff, and probably like I don't know, like a soy boy thing or something. But the reality is, it's actually something that you have to take a very strong stance with, and even face violence head on if it comes. Because peace comes at a cost, and sometimes that cost is violence. We're obviously seeing it unfolding in real time with like, the likes of Ukraine versus Russia, but yeah, so really again it's like a flag that represents peace rather than anything else. I guess you could have like a few things on it. You know, the people cutouts around the earth, and then somewhere on it a peace logo. Maybe on top, maybe below. I guess, yeah, maybe below, because underneath the skin, I guess, that's where you probably find peace anyway. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't know what else to add, but I felt like that's kind of inspiring to realise that. I think that's again the only flag I would ever wave. I'd be surprised if the hippies didn't make any back in the 80s and 90s or 70s rather, whenever they were around. Probably even 60s. So yeah, I know peace was like a big part of the movement. Anyway, I better move on. Got things to do again. Well, I just finished my Maiden. I've listened to every single album and I am shocked. There's at least a. Well, there's so many fucking songs I like. It'd be hard to list them all. I'll probably leave a list of the best songs I like. Even from that, it's probably like what can Windows of other words show me how many there's through lines. No. Okay, thanks, word. I'll take its word for it. But it is what I made of it is incredible. I've honestly never heard a metal band as good as this. And I don't think, in my opinion, it's as good as Demetori, but I think that's because obviously with Demetori it's a very niche thing. It's Toho covers, which you can't go wrong with, and it's also different varieties of metal as well, and styles associated with that. So, what do I even say about this band? Like, I go through each album and what I thought on it, but there's specifically a thing about this band. I think it's so unnecessary. I hate to do it, but and a tier list because at this point, with what it's doing and the amount of things it's done, it does feel like it's worth talking about it from this perspective. So, if I can find it, there it is. Yeah, I forgot to rank Senjutsu. Um, actually, yeah, not if, um, So, do I do it in order? I made a discography or not? Just rank it. Based on obviously memory, unfortunately. The first one I made. Oh yeah, I got confused there for a second. They have an alternate cover. The alternate cover is terrifying. What the fuck? As if the first cover wasn't terrifying enough. This album was a bit rough in areas, but it was good. I certainly enjoyed it. I think it was very interesting in areas too. I liked Phantom of the Opera and the Killers, or was that the next one? I think that's the next one. Yeah, quite a few tracks I enjoyed from this. Hard to say again. That Strange World was good. Genghis Khan, is it? I wouldn't say like the best songs. Some are good. Then there's Killers, which had some interesting tracks too, and I did enjoy them. I've got to say the rankings. Where the fuck is the thing gone? We could do the tile thing. Just tile and then that one. Just there you go. So, Iron Maiden's self-titled album is a low A tier. It's just above B, obviously, and Killers is above Iron Maiden. So there's that, and then Number of the Beast, which I put above Killers because they just seem to be improving each album. It's really hard to say. But I think around the Number of the Beast, was it? Is it Bruce? Yeah, Bruce started vocals, which is also where they made a big difference. Did Killers as well. No, that was Paul Diano. Yeah, very interesting. And then there was Peace of Mind, which was it? So yeah, that one. I put it above another later album, but it's like middle A tier. Because again, a lot of these tracks are very good, but there are obviously some I just probably don't like that much. They probably don't like that much in some ways. It's weird to say, but there are genuinely things about Maiden tracks I can dislike with enough. So that becomes a factor in that. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is, so I think either the style or obviously just the way the albums were done. I don't know. It's hard to say. But obviously one thing that goes without saying as well is I love the tones. Guitar tones obviously iconic, and bass as well, Steve Harris, and also the drumming is pretty impressive in areas too, which I didn't expect. I sometimes find myself drawing my attention to them during the rhythms on a repeat, and they are doing stuff. I'm not a drummer, so I can't comment on how good it actually is, but either way, it's something. That's probably better than nothing. So yeah, where did I put that? Peace of Mind was that. Yeah, midway to Power Slave is next. Probably second in S tier. And I put it there because I just enjoyed the most tracks from it, especially on the last tracks on it, which I think was I can't remember the name now. It's like a shanty, was it? Because I swear I've heard it before. That's a weird thing. I swear I've heard this track before. I don't recognise it from Power Slave. I did listen to Iron Maiden in college, but I didn't remember it for some reason. Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, that was it. Even though it's quite long, it's quite interesting anyway. I did enjoy that a lot. Was it opening with Aces High is quite clever because Aces High is really epic. And that used to be my favourite Iron Maiden song until I discovered later ones. But yeah, Power Slave, second S. Next is Somewhere in Time. This one wasn't hard to rank. S tier, first place. Yeah, it's honestly a masterpiece. It's so fucking good. Because it goes this direction of being almost like futuristic in a way, even though it's kind of hard to do that in terms of metal, and they do it almost perfectly. It had AFX, it had reverb. I think they even add some extra instruments if I'm not mistaken. But But the way that it's all composed and obviously laid out, the way it's obviously layered is incredible. I think I enjoyed the most songs from Somewhere in Time. Yeah, it is impressive. I do genuinely think it's the best Maiden album there is. But then we have to obviously move on because obviously there's not much time. But Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, I put in A tier, near the middle, so before Peace of Mind. I thought I liked it. It's good. It's a bit of a step down from Somewhere in Time, which honestly was absolutely amazing. Yeah, but also I couldn't remember many songs from this, which is weird because I sort of go by that as well. So I was trying to think, looking at the album cover, which songs do I remember? I think I could probably imagine a few, but I can't remember that many. So yeah. But then again, this was weeks ago, but still somehow I remember like Somewhere in Time, like Heaven Can Wait, and something like that. Something like that is not a song title, by the way. Just a figure of speech. Anyway, No Prayer for the Dying. Did I list this? Yes, I believe I did, because this was actually with. No, it's Bruce Dickinson. Oh, okay. Which album is this though? No Prayer for the Dying. I think the dealer's got the wrong cover. Save for horror? No. Oh, I don't know where I put this then. Oh, there it is actually. I'm blind. C tier. Even though it wasn't Blaze, it was a weird fucking album. I don't know what was up with it, but some things about the songs were off. It just felt like they're trying a new sound or something. And it just didn't work. I don't know why that is though. It's a very bizarre scenario. I remember listening to it and thinking, I'm skipping a lot of these songs because I just don't like them. I don't think there'd be a C tier for Iron Maiden, but Jesus Christ. Fortunately, it's only the second worst, but then we get on to Fear of the Dark, which actually is S tier, third place. Yeah, unsurprisingly, my favourite song from the great album here gets a high place. And also it won me points as well because of the specific song that's about the, is it AIDS pandemic? Is it a pandemic? I don't know. I could be wrong, so don't take my word for it. Also that won me some points because the fact that they even addressed that back then, whilst people are dying from this and stuff, and there was a bunch of fear mongering, is just really crazy. It also takes some balls, and obviously it earns my respect because that is just something that not many bands even tried back then. I don't know if Judas Priest even tried it. Yeah, I could be wrong. I could have missed it from Judas Priest, and I did love Judas Priest when I listened to them. Also Motorhead. Motorhead was great. I did enjoy Motorhead too. So yeah, I like Fear of the Dark unsurprisingly high up. Then there's the X Factor. Oh, this one. Well, this one was concerning because it had Blaze Bailey on the vocals, and I wasn't a fan of this much. It had a few problems with it, in my opinion. I think that it was definitely lacking in a lot of areas. It felt like the style changed, and I did look into this weirdly enough because I was wondering what the fuck happened here. And apparently Harris suggested Blaze Bailey because he was like the preferred vocalist for Iron Maiden, which was just nuts. And then apparently the criticisms from fans, much like myself now, was enough to, I think, possibly get him off the band, which was, I don't know, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'll be honest, his vocal style doesn't suit the play styles that obviously Adrian and Harris have. So it never really worked, and that's why it ended up in the lowest tier of C. And luckily, this is the lowest tier that the albums go, so obviously keep that in mind. Yeah, bit of a strange circumstance either way. Next is Virtual 10, which is it 10? Oh, this is 11 actually, Virtual 11. This was actually a Blaze Bailey album as well, but it didn't get C tier, it got B instead. Because I felt like there was more effort in this one from both Blaze and obviously the band itself, as Harris and everyone else. I did feel like there was a difference with it, and it made some interesting things. Like Future Real was a pretty interesting track. I remember it from when I was actually first listening to Maiden in college, just doing my IT work, and that came and I was like, well, it's a bit weird of a track, and then just do it again, obviously, recently, and I kind of liked it. It grew on me. It certainly was a different direction. Then we go on to the next album, which is Brave New World. Top of A tier. Yeah, it is a pretty good album. I did enjoy it. There were songs in there I was a bit like kind of urging them, maybe not so high, but it was great. And it's great to see Bruce back as well. But I'd probably also put the rating up higher because I just, yeah, I just couldn't get along with Blaze's voice, sadly. It's very unusual, especially coming from Fear of the Dark, which was genuinely some of Bruce's best vocals. Um, so yeah, just that doesn't surprise me. So the fact it's obviously that high up is probably a good thing as well, and it shows that they've also aged pretty good as well. That's the other thing. They aged incredibly well. That does surprise me. What's the next one? Trying to think. There's a Dance of Death. This one, fucking album cover. The 3D render is so bad. I can't even tell what's going on. But despite that, the songs are great. It's second in A tier. It's honestly really good. Did enjoy quite a few tracks from this, and it's not really surprised it was good. Um, Not much else to say on it though. It's a great comeback as well. Again, second time Bruce has appeared since Blaze. But anyway, the next track is A Matter of Life and Death, and I put this in fourth place in A tier. They had some interesting tracks, but I think some were a bit disappointing in areas. I remember sort of thinking that maybe I don't look forward to listening to this album, but it actually turned out alright towards the end. There were definitely some decent tracks as well. Again, hard to remember off by heart. And next one is Final Frontier. The Final Frontier, rather. This is in fourth place in S tier, and it's the final song for S tier. So there's no more in B or C and nothing below. I like this a lot. It actually had some really unique tracks, and the fact it aged so well, this is like 2010, it's also baffling to me. Like, what the fuck? It's really unheard of, especially with bands like this, when they turn a certain age and they still sound great. It's literally unheard of. Like 30 years later, the first album I made was in 1980. This album, 2010, and they sound like almost exactly the same as they did back then. Also, with some differences to the style, but still similar. Yeah, I just like this album. It's good. There wasn't much to really dislike with it. Then after that is Book of Souls, and there's now bigger years between them, which doesn't surprise me. The interesting thing about this album, I learned through the comments, is Bruce was doing this with throat cancer, which is pretty insane. It was undiagnosed at that time. He was singing with it despite that. And yeah, it was a good album. I will say it's only A tier and in the middle, like fifth place, next to Peace of Mind. It's a good album. There's not too much to dislike with it. I think the only letdown, I suppose, is in the composition. I did feel some areas were a bit rough here and there, but there's still some great tracks on it. There's some memorable ones too, sure. Um, yeah, trying to look what's in the best ones. Starpoint on that? No, I think that was this one. Souls is good. Man of Sorrow. Sorrow. Um, yeah, not much else to on it really. Just an interesting track. And then finally we get to Senjutsu, which is the latest one in 2021. Yeah, it's a pretty good album. But it's in A, it's in third place, and obviously that's the final album there. I just liked it. It was a good album. It had some great tracks in it. Surprising that it also aged incredibly well with the band. That's the other thing that gets me with this. It it just aged so well. And again, I can't fool them. They've still got a great sound and it still works just so well. One stutters, probably sleep deprivation. Uh, yeah. Um, but in terms of like bands and stuff, if I was to compare it to the closest ones, which would be Judas Priest, and in terms of like aging as well, like compare it to Silosis, where in my opinion Silosis has aged both well and also kind of poorly. Not the old stuff, because it's great. But I mean when they transitioned into obviously a later period and got a different tone, and whilst it still works, obviously, so I still listen to them and still enjoy it a lot. Sometimes it just doesn't work, and I Maiden, much like Judas Priest here, who even though they did try to change their sound, I think, at least once or twice, just did an incredible job of keeping it. They kept the same tones, the same equipment, obviously. Made it sound great. It's honestly really impressive as well. And it's even better given that the band is just not that controversial. You very ever really, I think, very ever rarely rather, hear anything about them. It's anything bad. And even then, it's like the things I've read with Bruce Dickinson, like the Ozfest and stuff, but that's not really to do with them necessarily. It's maybe a controversial topic, again, touchy, because of what's happening at the time. But it's also apparently, yeah, that Bruce did lash out anger at a fan apparently of someone lighting a flare in Greece. Um, apparently, like something against Greece, so I don't know what that was. Again, for a band to be this good and at least controversial is honestly unheard of. It sort of reminds me of Saxon as well, in a way too. Saxon as well also aged incredibly well. Doing metal music and hard rock essentially. Yeah, Iron Maiden actually has made a very long lasting impression on me. I think it's actually so good that I consider getting merch where I in the money and also had room for merch because at the moment I'm obviously skimped. Also, I don't really want to buy merch which I don't need. I don't need new t-shirts. I've got a few. Say a few. I've got plenty. Um, and then I've got backups for those in case they go awry. But I don't need a new shirt at the moment. But if I was to pick, I'll probably pick an Iron Maiden shirt. Like, fuck it. And also, one of the other things about Iron Maiden, I forgot to mention this. Because sometimes bands have a really unique sort of gimmick and sort of style to that. And where Iron Maiden is special is they seem to mix in songs about history and songs about the present times. They're using a recent one, like The Writing on the Wall. It's very much a reference to, well, America's downfall and also UK as well, because obviously with COVID and stuff. It's literally referencing how the end times are sort of coming. It's just scary as well, because that also aged incredibly well given the situations we're in now. Um, yeah, so I like the interesting mix of history and storytelling, and obviously what's going on in the present. That's again what makes this band so different to others. I don't really know of any like history-telling bands other than probably Sabaton. But I don't really know much about Sabaton, and they are on my list of bands to listen to, I believe. Um, yeah, I genuinely have enjoyed this a lot. I've enjoyed them. Our Maiden is so good that they've made it to my bands of fame because they are just that good. That's pretty much unheard of as well, given again the aging process of some of these bands is not always great. It's not always looked too kindly on them. You know, it should be an honour to be in that position anyway. It's crazy. Yeah, I know if I have an Iron Maiden song come up on my playlist, I won't complain. Like, bloody hell, they're fucking amazing. I don't think there's ever a point I'd even skip the tracks either. But yeah, like, honestly, it's impressive. I'm really grateful to have actually listened to them really enough. Because I think, see the way things are now, and how bad my situation is, I've been sort of cheered up by the aspect that there's still great metal music out there that's still sticking to their roots and stuff. And it's just genuinely impressive. And again, it's almost unheard of as well. You often hear about bands going through drug issues and overdoses, but I don't think Iron Maiden's really had any. I'm aware, but even then, I think they just focus on the music, and that's like the most important part. I think that's also where bands sort of fail too. They don't focus on the music and they focus on their lives instead. Where, you know, in Metallica's case, I think they had like drug problems and I think slept with a lot of people. I'm pretty sure in the past, anyway. Um, I think yeah, there's different issues with them. That's why they sort of went the easier route with that type of music of punk rock. But then you also have Crohn, who unfortunately I think their music career was essentially damaged by the fact that they distanced themselves so much from the music that made them iconic, which unfortunately came from a place of drugs and alcohol and abuse as well, which obviously isn't good. But again, I'll just support and respect them for changing. Just again, I can't really listen to the music. It's not what I enjoy personally. Some people do, which is fair. Yeah, um, it's always a shame when that stuff happens. It just shows how, again, like, it sort of reminds me of how times have changed as well. Back then, it's probably more common for people to be like dealing and taking drugs. Also now, it's like you wouldn't really get away with that sort of stuff at all, and there'll be people looking out for you as well. I'm pretty sure of that. This is more like mechanisms in place to prevent these things from happening. Uh, yeah. Anyway, I ain't got much else to say. That's my review of like Maiden in its entirety. Like genuinely listening to. Also can't recommend them enough if you're even like trying to transition into metal. Well, I'd suggest you start with like one of the later albums, like maybe I'll say later, but one of the earlier albums is what I'd say. So probably Killers or Power Slave. I think Power Slave is probably a great place to start. It gives you a good idea of what they're about and somewhere in time. But you won't really be at a loss for listening to everything. Like I have. Again, it takes a while. There's good like I think 30 hours of music to listen to, which is also insane. I've got 150 tracks here that I really like. No, it's actually 145, I think. Um, yeah, again, it's impressive. There's just a lot to like here. Even the long songs as well. That's also great. Anyway, I better move on. But yeah, that's it for I Made It. Well, once my chest tries to kill me, I'm going to talk. So, there's a thing to talk about. I've got two things, and the first one probably less stressful but still annoying. And this is about a skill up review that I listened to recently, which was the Mixtape review. And as people may know, my thoughts on the game pretty much that it's okay. I think it's great for non-gamers, but it's bad for long-time gamers. It's good for nostalgia, but it's bad for people who don't or haven't lived through it, rather. Because it honestly does seem a bit kind of boring in a way. I could see that, even though I'm Gen Z. I could see it, but people are immediately accusing Skill Up, or I think it's Austin, is it? Or Ralph? I can't remember what his name is now. What's the different names in it? I don't know. So, nope. Basically, the main Skill Up guy. He's been fairly reasonable with game reviews, and then we got an issue here where he's being completely ratioed in the comments. There's over 3,469 comments, 4.5k likes, and I don't have the dislikes on because I personally don't think it matters. Weirdly enough, I'm one of those people. I just don't care. It's not a good tell of whether a video is going to be good or not, and only in rare situations it does. I don't really want it to influence my opinions and thoughts on something. I just want to naturally see the video and then give my thoughts after. And yeah, that's not really anything to do with the dislikes, but anyway. There was already comments here saying, well, you might expect. But there's also replies to the top one. Shit review, shit game. You're as good as IGN now. Congrats. Shut up at it again. You tell a while ago, but this review truly confirmed it for me. You fell off a while ago here. I don't know. To be honest, I don't really play the games that Skill Up recommends, but you know, given how well received the games are, it can be. It really depends. Someone's saying somehow Shut Up returned. People say you got the care package. If there's ever been a game for video game journalists, this is it. Which I agree with, it kind of is. I hope you're enjoying the gift box I sent you. The surprising review from Shut Up, Theatre Kid, the game. I can't wait to relive childhood I've never had through fake nostalgia. That's what they mean by that. It's the most Xbox past game ever made. I think it's just from the 90s could relate to this unless they're born in the US and from an upper middle class family. Yeah, actually, it's kind of true though. That's the thing I noticed about the game. It does seem like it is based in like middle class, and I think that's mainly because it's supposed to appeal to people who had friends who are poor, but obviously like this, you can see that there's a middle class friend, and I certainly had that as well. Growing up, I won't obviously say who, but I definitely knew people who weren't worse off than me, but I also knew people worse off than me. So it really varies in that sense, and I think the appeal is definitely different. Another pirate software. Fucking hell. So long though. So what's next? What other things? It's okay, bro. I get it. You got an interview with the devs and you gotta praise it. Devs, you gotta praise it. Okay. Did he? Possible? I don't know. Let's go by newest. Let's see. Interactive movie that plays itself gets so many great reviews. A game that has mechanic and require playing get lower scores. Lower saw clip how it rewinds the cassette. Do you even realise the way a rewind was the wrong way for a game that has tape? And is there a highlight? Can't even get the rewind. I was wondering that actually. It's a weird thing as well. I noticed when Jesse Cox was playing it, the rewind was on the right side rather than the left, unless maybe it's like flipped over. I don't know what that scene was. I'm not sure if it is right or wrong there, so it's hard to say. But I did notice it seemed a bit off. I always remember rewinding VHS tapes as a kid, sort of manually, when we had to do that. And we had to replay like I'd rather put it in the thingy, put another one in there to rewind it automatically. Yeah, I had to do that to rewind it, but anyway, it took too long anyway to do that. I've never beaten the shit out of accusations in Crown. Do you recommend this garbage but not lost judgment? Lol. Sponsored by the Ellison family. Stranger things but nothing happens, the Lost Boss but you never leave base camp. This is not a game you should even review, let alone recommend it. How did you get bribed to do this? I'm so incredibly disappointed. Who's actually watching this shit up? Shield slop of review. You could tell shit up is having a problem with money. Unsubscribed. Lost all credibility in one video. Been a huge fan of reviews and videos since beginning. This is it for me, mate. Can't believe this is recommended. The thing is, so I don't get where this gift package thing comes from. It needs like evidence. So let me try to look it up. Mixtape, gift box. Proof. I guess I'll look up like the proof of it. Nope, it just comes up with mixtapes. Mixtape game. Sorry, I'll move that. No, nothing there. Okay. As I said, it's not the greatest game in all honesty. It doesn't warrant the positive reviews. If anything, it would have been deserved at about 60% at most with positive reviews, because that's probably where I'd put it. Even though it would be a positive experience, and you know, I could have appreciated it, but it's like, fuck, where am I? I'm getting distracted again. Bloody noises everywhere, and there's rain outside as well, so happen. Yeah, again, I could see myself like recommending it, but I can't recommend it for specific types of people. I haven't had a single fucking care package, and like, as I said, I'm stressed the fuck out. If I had a gift box, like maybe I'd be happy, but I wouldn't take bribes. That's not what I do. I don't fucking care how much it is. The truth is, I don't sell myself out. It's something I can't do. But anyway, there's a Steam discussion as well. 1,923 reviews by max player count of 2,245. Someone pointing out that this is fishy. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. I think what else there is. Is there anything else in the discussion? Sorry. Trying to think, trying to look at it. I'm interested about Jessica Cox for this, because he didn't finish it, but let's see, stops in the end. Okay, let's review quick. Yeah, kind of an agreeable review. Basically just saying, the guy has no issues with having very light gameplay as long as the narrative is striking. But when you don't have both, there's a problem. If you don't have gameplay, at least have a great story. Look at To the Moon, for example. I remember To the Moon, actually. That was years ago. It was a pixel art game, wasn't it? It's really fucking sad, I think. Thing is, though, people are actually playing this. It's like screenshots and stuff, and I've got tons of comments on it, weirdly enough. I'm going to look at what they are. Emotes, just emotes. Like, what's going on here? Another one with same emotes. What's this one? Let that go. Tried holding for 2 minutes, but couldn't let go. Smiley face. It's the author. I don't make a cry, I don't want to let go. Look at these accounts. Private. Okay, so let's do some investigating. Was public on the emote ones, so maybe someone suggested maybe hacked accounts on this. It's one here with tons of games on it, which is interesting as well. Let's do a third one. Similar thing, because it's more catered towards something else. Um, yeah, sometimes I think it is just a case where people do enjoy the game. Um, just yeah, it's kind of sad. Another big game account. It would be surprising if these are hacked accounts because they genuinely seem like they're high value. Also, this is straight up hentai. What the fuck? Someone's got hentai on the fucking screen. It's like a cyborg, but still. Oh yeah, that's a big ass. Let's go off that. So yeah, I think the biggest thing here is that it's suspiciously rated a 10 out of 10 game. Admittedly, Skill Up didn't say a rating. I don't think they usually do on these things. But the 10 out of 10 ratings are just fucking suspicious as hell. It's kind of crazy actually, because it's not really a game that's worth a 10 out of 10. As I said, again, I've put my rating at like a 6 out of 10, but this is based on the watch experience, not the gameplay. The gameplay could be different. Um, but what else is there even to say? Banned in Massachusetts, oh, so achievement. Low VRAM, what? Someone refunded the product even with 2.1 hours, that's unheard of. Um, let's see, there's some discussion here. Megan Ellison, daughter of Larry Ellison, made this game. The man has $450 billion in Oracle paid for his daughter little indie game. 10 out of 10 IGN guys. Apparently Asmongold talks about it. We don't talk about Asmongold because he's a fucking douchebag. He doesn't care about anything. He's not well researched and he's been banned. Fuck him. He's not a reliable source, so there's someone discussion for negativity. Yeah, this game has rave reviews. I'm not. Oh, I can't read. It's too small again. Fuck the controls even on the webpage. I'm on the side of not understanding why it's been given a 10 out of 10, which most likely reviews are paid for. Like, I don't want to sound like a hater, but even looking at the bare minimum, I don't know how we let something like this slide, man. Feels like an early 2000s game when a Maiden game got Game of the Year, though. I played and heavily enjoyed Life is Strange. It's funny, the story was alright and it was different at the time. But seeing as you're actually doing things in that game, where this is just choiceless, this is just a choiceless idle movie. Oh, for some reason there's a comment there. I don't know, just weird, man. Well, if it does going to change my mind, feel free to send me one of those care packages along. But really, do you guys feel worried about this stuff? Yeah. Um. Uh, Someone comments saying it's like a 10 out of 10. Like if you've tens of thousands of games already exist out there for you to go to play. This game is one kind of experience. And if that isn't immediately obvious, then to you, then I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, again from that thing, that perspective, like if you grow up with this sort of stuff, it's nostalgic. I think it's very easy to capture you. I think it really applies to people in their 40s at this point more than anything else. People 40s and above. But I don't think it really applies to anyone else. Well, even me. Even though I had like a CD player, stereo, and TV, I used to watch Family Guy on there. I might like CLTV in my room, watch Simpsons as well. Even had my own box set. I had Father Ted at one point, which is a brilliant comedy, sadly written by, or partly written by a douchebag. But we don't talk about him. There's more comments here. There's one, it's going to be fucking gold in it. Basically, people from the DEI Detective Steam group and probably people from the Rage Base Video Brigade on the forum, as they always do. Yeah, probably. I think I probably hit the nail on the head, really. Because it does seem like there's a lot of people who just want to hate it for a specific reason. It literally is a case where people just latch onto these things and they don't look at it any other way, which is weird. And someone got banned here. So they said being fueled by content creators like Dalfang, who use dog whistle tropes to enrage the oh my god woke DEI chief in order to make money off the outraged engagement law. Guess so. That's one way it happens. Never heard of Dalfang. Awful name though. What the fuck is that? The game, stop calling it that. Yeah. There's a whole paragraph. I'm not going to read that. As I said, it's a terrible fucking scenario. I'm not going to talk about the next topic or anything. It's already sort of overwhelming enough with the amount of shit here. So yeah, again, it's extremely suspicious. I will admit it. I think it needs more investigating, and I think we might see something in the end. Let's see what this is. Full state is cringe, the anger is misplaced. I don't understand hate, am I missing something? It's interesting to read these ones because it's like there may be a case of because the average person isn't going to get a fucking care package, aren't they? But when it comes to this, like when people are being unbiased, trying to figure out what's going on here, using critical thinking, it's generally a good sign. I think for the modern audience, what the fuck are you on about? Like people in the modern audience are playing fucking first-person shooters, competitive ones. What the fuck are you talking about? It just makes no sense. Perfect game for the modern audience. If you hate actually playing a game and want a couple of hours long QTE of Gen Z cringe, it's not even Gen Z idiot. Man, this game is perfect. No wonder game journalists are throwing tins at us like it's The Last of Us Part 3. Guy's an idiot. It's not even fucking Gen Z. What the fuck? I write that. It's so fucking weird. Someone's saying, I just love it when a game makes insults and Nazis mad at the same time. How do I reward that? Got a ton of balance. Fuck it, you winner. Maybe perfect. Just love it when a game makes insults and Nazis mad at the same time. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know, do I reward it? Hard to say. Made for theatre kids and just happy that they found something that doesn't need a skill. What the fuck are you doing as a theatre kid? I keep hearing this. Turn around. What is a theatre? Because I don't do theatre. I never did it in school. I hated it. It's because there's a couple of stereotype of young actor who's just doing it openly displays a talent or passion for performance. Common traits associated with the stereotype includes obsession or devotion to school plays, a tendency to spontaneously perform or quote lyrics in everyday social situations, and a personal obsession with music as well. Are these comments just botted themselves as well? It genuinely seems like that. Because, you know what, I don't see people quoting this. I don't see it in the game from what I understood. I don't even see it in the reviews I've read, so what is they even fucking on about? It's literally like bot comments here. It's just so stupid, I don't get it. I'm gonna read this next discussion, and probably the last one. I don't understand the hate. Am I missing something? Finish this game on Game Pass, and I love it as a cinematic experience. I get it, some games aren't for everyone, but why are people acting like walking simulators haven't been a thing for a while? I was actually going to mention this earlier, I thought about it. It's a bit like a Telltale game. I could be wrong. But it is literally a bit like that, because even though you ain't got the choices and stuff, it would have in that, and also the failure scenario, it is a bit like that, and people have somehow less complaints about a Telltale game than this. And again, it's like a niche thing. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. It isn't mine either. But it's weird how they get a free pass and this doesn't. Like, what the fuck? Because it's almost similar in a way. Again, besides dialogue choice, but I see some similarities in it. It's just a game that plays itself and has a few QTEs and stuff. That's it. A comment says AstroTurf and bribery. Yep, it's kind of a problem. I have no idea what AstroTurf is, but bribery, I mean, it's a possibility that some people just like the game. Honestly, I don't know how you don't know what AstroTurf is. Pretty sure it's like the hate campaigns basically. I'll look it up again because it's AstroTurf, so I get the proper definition. Don't butcher it. AstroTurf is because that's a sports group. What is AstroTurf? I think that's what we want. The disguising of an orchestrated campaign as a grassroots event, i.e., spontaneous upwelling of public opinion. Yeah, that's what it is. So it's pretty similar. It's actually what we're seeing. It's both the case of AstroTurf and also the case of bots. And obviously bribery with reviewers obviously being paid for the shit. Same people just being told to play the game, told to hate the game rather by people making a living on telling people what to hate. Okay, so watch a YouTube video then almost like different genres exist. I would have thought. Every reviewer gave it a 10 out of 10, received a care package from Annapurna with goodies. What is this care package? I'll look it up again. Mixtape care package. Reviewers. Not coming up. For some reason. What the fuck is going on? Mixtape game care package. Again, it's not showing up. I could try YouTube. Do something. See if it comes up. God, they even have a video for reviews 10 on the fucking front page. They're lying about Mixtape. Drama. It's a much bigger problem. Again, there's not really any proof of this. That's a strange thing. Again, it's not really there. Like, there isn't really any evidence at the moment. Other than the reviews, I guess. I'm not guessing, actually, it is the reviews. What the fuck am I saying? So yeah, like, the discussion is pretty on point though. Because I think, again, there's an appeal. There is someone who likes this game out there. It's not you or me, probably, if you are gamers. But it feels to someone. Even at least, like, people, again, the age of 40 or above. Especially the audience. But again, this feels really like it's gotten out of hand to the point where obviously Skill Up's video is being attacked with it. And to the point where I just don't really agree with the attacks because there are parts of it which are valid. He even pointed out that it's not gameplay heavy. For some reason, people think this is all to do with a recommendation rather to do with actually having the care package, supposedly, whatever the care package is. So yeah, like, very strange as well. I don't know if I'd like unsubscribe exactly. I think I'd have to wait to see if there's any sort of like revelations, is that the term, or just something on this. Someone in the comments just said 10 out. No, recommended is fine. 10 out of 10 is not. Yeah. Let's see. Still nothing there in the comments. There's no proof again. That's what I'm fucking looking for. Let's look at Annapurna care package and Annapurna care package. Don't know if it's going on first long. Annapurna circuit track package. It's a holiday. Not Annapurna. What the fuck are we doing results? Annapurna publisher. Let's do that because that might come up. I might bet that. Annapurna Deluxe Limited Edition. care packages. All this in a box by is. Um, Again, there isn't really any proof. Feeling bad on a partner. It's from 3 years ago. Yeah. Let's try Master's game again and see if there's anything about this here. Space 4, that's another anime game. And I did see a post about Mixtape a few days ago, but I can't remember what it was or where it was. So they made a decent point though, I think. I don't know. Can't see it. But yeah, that's still an issue though, that has to be said. Extremely suspicious game, and I don't really know. Just finished Mixtape, but I also understand why some people love it. Is this a wall? Just a clap, okay. Uh, so I did read this before, I'll read it again. As a TV show, I think Mixtape is pretty good. However, Mixtape is not a TV show, it is an interactive video game, except it's also not a game. Because to say Mixtape gameplay would be like saying TV show is like a video game, because you can raise and lower the volume. Mixtape largely achieves a sort of video game through technicality. I actually have nothing against story-driven games with limited gameplay. I enjoyed Life is Strange when it came out, and recently released Dispatch. Yeah, Dispatch was actually great to watch. They finished that Dragon Cancer, For Your Eyes, Gone Home. All those are experiences that benefit a lot from being interactive, but I just don't see it with Mixtape. Gameplay just changes depending on the moment, but half the time it's like skateboarding somewhere or walking very slowly. I remember the walking slowly thing, so I had to go it through. Yeah, I did have a problem with that actually. The walking slow thing because it made it feel dragged out, like they're trying to avoid the Steam refunds sort of policy. Because you need to think a few hours on the game before it becomes ineligible. And obviously, like 2 weeks as well, so they expect it to be essentially a dust stop, for lack of a correct term. So it's like a game that catches dust and you can't actually refund it. Anyway, this both continues. Both of these mean loco versions feel really sluggish and bad to control. Standard gameplay is sometimes novel or charming, but always very slow. As far as representation goes, this game looks nice and sounds nice at least. I just don't think this game needs to be a game. I want a game to be very low from being an interactive piece of media. Beyond the ability to linger it, the environment's a bit longer, which honestly might be enough for it to be worth to some people. If I had to give Mixtape a score, I'd say 6 out of 10. That's because I'm compromising between reviewing it as a game and reviewing it as a TV show. For actual gameplay, I give it 3 out of 10, but as an entertaining piece of media, I give it 7 out of 10. I enjoyed most of it and it going pleasures all the way. Yeah, that's pretty understandable, but your rating would actually be 5 out of 10. I think, although the visual thing probably adds more, so again, it's like rounding it up. There isn't much to say on this, really. Just an honest sort of comment about it. Some of the comments saying there's more agency in those games, which is fair. Let's see, anything else? Yeah, someone mentioned the Mixtape thing again, we're riding it. I just wonder if that's just because it's the wrong way around, rather than like as in it's flipped. I don't know. I'm trying to find any good comments here. It's like a visual novel, kinda. Someone who's 48 years old, however, it's included in sub cost, doesn't cost me anything extra. Probably agree that anything over $20 for something like this, short little gameplay, a bit asking for a lot. And it's priced right around that amount, so I think if you're going treating it like a mini series and a game, it's a good ride, but honestly, I think it's got more draws to those of us with memories of time exactly. That's exactly what I said. Opinion is not in the game. I'm not saying it's good, it's not good. Just saying it doesn't really qualify this game, yeah. Anyway, I better fucking move on. that basically is it. I'm probably not going to touch this game, or topic or whatever, until there's more evidence. I want to know the evidence. So, anyway, let's move on. So apparently Labour has labelled a statement or announcement or whatever you call it at this point because it's not real. But Israel is real. Anyway, they apparently announced things according to Alex Norris, MP, who have apparently passed 50 new laws to tackle the cost of living crisis in poor communities and get a better deal for working people. Today's King's speech, we're going further with the action on energy bills, national security, and making public services fit for the future. And there's a list of things that they're announcing today. Nationalising British Steel. Not sure if that's a good thing. Like, I need to read up my term. What does nationalise mean? Because I'm also confused about the term. To convert from private governmental ownership. Convert from private to governmental. Not sure if that's a good thing though. Because that just sounds like you're making it essentially like Trump is. You know, you want to own everything. And I don't know why steel is the thing that you're doing, unless I'm misinterpreting it. Unless there's like a meaning towards the word steel, but I'm not aware of it. And what else? Hang on, just opening a soundtrack because I'm going to listen to that after this. There it is, the Clitium, there's only 3 tracks, what the fuck? I thought there'd be more. It's just not loaded slowly. Well, this doesn't seem up to date. That's weird. Anyway, next thing. Take back control of the asylum system. So, I've been struggling with wind today, not joking. I don't know, like, the asylum system wasn't even a problem to begin with. And, again, what we've seen from Reform is just made up numbers. So no, there is no fixing the asylum system. As far as I know, it's always fine the way it is. I could be wrong, when it do be proven wrong. But the way it's tackled, as I've read it up, you have to go through a lengthy process to get accepted, and certain hotels will offer themselves up to asylum if they're not making business, so that also gives a payment, I think. That's what I heard from one of the asylum hotel owners once. It's probably more out there, obviously. But again, it's quite a red herring when they claim they're taking control of it, but no, you're not. In fact, you're just as likely to dismantle it and fuck us all over with a cost of living crisis. Next thing, improving cybersecurity. No, you're not. Everything that Labour has done so far to improve cybersecurity has backfired, because it had constant government-based hacks and ID hacks ever since it was first introduced. Look no further than the cyberwarfare videos that covered this, and you'll see for yourself. And there's also others out there. I've seen like a few shorts, for example. I've even seen. Oh god, there's this guy on YouTube that covers that actually, like the history of UK like database breaches and stuff. And there's some shocking discoveries in there, including ones that involved the names of like soldiers during the Afghan war, which was fucking horrific. Like, what the hell? How is it even allowed, let alone legal? And apparently all they got, the people who basically failed to prevent this, the government, is just a slap on the wrist. So we've always had shit cybersecurity, so if you are improving it, like you say you might be, you have to do it right. You have to get a cybersecurity expert, not fucking Palantir, not Trump. An actual cybersecurity expert. And I've been in IT, admittedly I'm not into the security stuff, but I have learned about it. I've learned about white hat hackers and stuff, and you know, they're like your best shot at preventing a breach. They're just putting it out there, even though they can use it dangerously in combination with surveillance and stuff. It's better when you have a good security system with the intent to protect people. So that means strong firewalls, strong solutions to the problems we face. So, yeah. Anyway, next thing. There's been many things that I skip over here, obviously. Building a better partnership with Europe, yes, a good thing. You definitely need to do that, especially in light of, obviously, wars around the world, and just US being unreliable. US is always going to be unreliable, especially with not caring about financial situations. You need to start to give a shit, start to join with Europe so we can support each other, essentially. Shoulder the burden together. So when there is a crisis where, say, oh, we ain't got any fuel for our vehicles anymore, surely a lot of you would probably come together. So it'd probably be good to have that. So there is like a sort of trade there. I could be wrong. I could be misinterpreting how it works again, because again, I'm no expert. Also, with like trade and stuff and tariffs, I think it could be a good thing to partner with Europe. I know I want my hands on a Switch 2, for example. It's a bit of a personal thing, but it does help me exercise, and that's only because of the Switch 1, really. But yeah, I think that can be good. Next thing, the Hillsborough Law. What the fuck is that? The Hillsborough Law. What is it? How do we get it? September 2015. Can we introduce the Public Office Accountability Bill, known as the Hillsborough Law? I don't know what that is exactly. The Public Office Accountability? I don't know. That's hard to say. I don't know what to say here, to be honest, because it's kind of like, yeah, it's meh. So I don't know. Next thing, strengthening our national security. Yeah, are you? Because if you're really strengthening our security, then why aren't you addressing the cost of living crisis? So far, I don't think anyone really gives a shit about helping you, given the seriousness of our situation. So why would we ever fight for your war when nobody wants to? I guarantee you, if you ask any US citizen at the moment, they don't even want to fight Iran's war with Iran or alongside America, essentially. Nobody wants to. Because it's so fucking unnecessary. So literally, it just makes no sense. So yeah, like, what are you doing? Why aren't you addressing the other things first? And given that this is probably the order they said it in, again, it's worrying. Because I don't think they're actually going to do it. Again, it has to be seen to be believed. That's the only way we can deal with politics nowadays. It's kind of a shame, because it should be easier than that. Anyway, next thing. Reforming leaseholders' rights. I think this is about housing, wasn't it? I can't remember what it involved. I think Zach Palansky was talking about this on the Politics podcast. Man, it'd be fucking interesting if he and Keir Starmer had a conversation or debate. That'd be fucking insane. Not that it ever happened though. Yeah, essentially as likely as Nigel Farage appearing. But anyway, I don't know. Like, is it a good thing? Probably, but I think it was about housing and stuff, so I can't comment on it. I'm not really understanding housing stuff. Next point: taking action for clean water. Are you? Because the last I checked, they were still dumping sewage in the river, both sewage companies and animal agriculture. So I don't know how true that is. So, clean water, I know you mean like our tap water, but when we've run out of water, where the fuck else are we going to get it? So I don't understand this point. And if anything, we should be researching a solution to this, to have essentially infinite clean water, especially with the influx of data centers and shit. So that's like ever more important. So I don't know what they're thinking with this exactly. Again, it's seems to be believed. So yeah, I don't know what to say here. It does worry me, because I use a lot of water, unfortunately, because of my OCD and my physical issues. So if there is like a tax thing, that's going to fuck us, and it's going to fuck people like me, because I can't afford it. On top of that, I'm on benefits, so that's now the government's job. They need to pay for it. So yeah. Next thing, it also needs to stop privatising the companies of water and energy. Speaking of which, tackling the energy crisis costs, so they're saying, if they are, then why are we still not getting payments for that? Because we used to get every few months, like last year or the year before, actually. Yeah, it's the year before, that one. Used to get payments of like 300 quid into our accounts just for helping with the energy costs and stuff. Which is a good gesture. Like, I'm not going to lie, that's a good choice to make. But that suddenly stopped for some reason, and I think nowadays, especially with the Iran war, we're not going to be able to support it. So, what the fuck do we do about energy? We're kind of stuck here in a lot of senses. So, hopefully, they do implement a system like this, not to mention it help me personally, even though I would spend the money on something else, to be fair. I'd still appreciate the money because it's still useful to me. It's gonna give me some sensory comfort in life. So yeah, I don't really know what else to add there. That's just possibly a good thing if done right. But again, it's that if done right part. It's the most important thing. Next thing, renewing social housing. For what I heard from the podcast recently on Bulk Politics, actually the one before this recent one, I forgot his name. I've said his name before. He's talking about the housing crisis and stuff, and social housing was an element of that. That was still problematic. So, what is social housing? I need to remind myself. Or public housing, I guess, as Wiki puts it. Is also known as social housing. It's subsidised or affordable housing provided in buildings that are usually owned and managed by local government, centralised government, non-profit organisations, and a combination thereof. Well, I think other than the government parts, it's a positive. So organisations and combination is good. I'm hoping this means people like me with autism can specifically get houses catered to them, as in like houses rather than flats, because flats are fucking useless. I don't like flats. I don't think anybody does. But they are sensory nightmares for autistic people. So you definitely need non-profit organisations to essentially help with that. So when we do get that sort of maybe funding or donations, maybe those, hopefully there's an organisation that can start building houses, like buying up land, building the houses the correct way for autistic individuals who probably also want to be, much like myself, be more independent, but without the worry of being alone or being away from people, or even just not being able to get to places. So maybe mobility issues incorporated in that. But an organisation that addresses all that would be ideal. It could even be a case where the workers, whoever overlooks it and stuff, if there are workers there, again, once the houses are built and they are suitable for purpose, visually, auditorily, and everything, like fuel-wise too. So like, probably need just like a cheap haircut, to be honest, and that does the job. Oh, and heating. But basically, a house designed for autistic people would be great, like houses rather, and even shared houses given the option. But obviously, it needs these good traits on it before you get the worker part. Because I think the worker part is another thing entirely. Needs specific training and stuff, and specific education, understanding. Because autism isn't a simple fucking job where you just, oh, I'm just going to go into it blind and know everything because I'm great. That's not how it fucking works. And I've had too much of that in my experience. And with the people I've met, unfortunately, and even for some reason, even other strangers. Again, they just assume they know everything because either they have someone they know with autism or have experience with working with people who are like probably on the lower end of the spectrum or high end. I forget what the difference between high functioning and low functioning is. I think I was considered low functioning. I can't remember now, fucking hell. Basically it's like autism where you're either quiet or you're loud and bossy with the walls. Or you are, like most people have viewed them, basically unintelligent. And that's a real shame. Because that's not what autism is. It's very specifically for other things. Autism is just very varied. In fact, most intelligent people you've probably ever met are autistic. And that's for a reason. Like hyperfixations and shit. Anyway, social housing I think would be a good thing. It's also great for people who have families as well, because they no doubt need somewhere to go with families. I often feel a lot of guilt, I've talked about this before, but in my situation, even though I'm grateful for having a house and a roof over my head essentially, although I'd rather a smaller house and be alone, I kind of want to trade my place with a family. Because I think they deserve it more than I do. And yeah, again, it just sort of ties into hyper empathy and also just my depression as well when it relates to autism, because depression is pretty much linked to my autism as I figured out. I do feel a lot of guilt about having this place being unhappy and there being families who fucking live in cars and live on the streets. They live in like fucking mould houses, which luckily I don't have to really contend with. It's quite rare for mould to appear here. Even it's only ever appeared in places with shit. Like, is it ventilation or I can't remember what it is. For some reason the bathroom upstairs gets a lot mold, I don't know why. It's only ever there. So I've no clue what that's about. Um yeah. Like again, I wish that we could sort of trade situations, so I'll get a decent flat. That's maybe one bedroom as well, because, I never used for two bedrooms. Or would I? Suppose I could make like a gaming room or something, but it depends on the size. But no, I think social housing would be good, so hopefully they do. Next thing, protecting Britain from hostile states. Eh? What do you fucking mean hostile states? Huh? I'm confused what you mean by that. What is a hostile state? Because I don't know what that is. Like, is that a country or what? What's a hostile nation state in anti-money laundering? No. Right. Conjunctive formalised at South Korea as primarily hostile state. So, again, is that to do with country or to do with what? Legislation to counter state threats. It's described threats often read as conducted by hostile states rather than hostile activity. Oh, is it like terrorist stuff? Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good thing. It's like, yeah, again, the terrorist attacks, the anti Semitism, but the problem is, you also have to address the, not necessarily the elephant in the room, it's more like the fucking Goliath at this point. But the Goliath has too much power, and that Goliath is Israel. So you have to address them before you address the anti Semitism, because they're the ones doing it. Like, it's not a conspiracy. They're the ones perpetuating this garbage that makes people become panicked and then commit these fucking horrible acts. They become anti-Semites, and also you get Zionists as well in these places. So it's the same thing. Both are going at each other, and it's a problem of Israel because they're the ones doing it. They wouldn't have a reason to attack were it not for the fucking genocide. Well, am I missing something here? I genuinely want to know the answer. As it currently stands, those relations are just absolutely tampered by the fact that Israel is essentially in bed with the UK. There's no polite way of putting it. That's why we have that problem to begin with. And then obviously the Russian thing we can't avoid because essentially we're supplying Israel with the weapons and tools necessary to defeat Russia. And things quick. Yeah, like, again, it's like the threat actors, or whatever you call them at this point, because they have too many different names. It's warriors just people who make it happen, the people who are perpetuating it and causing the panic, causing the fear. And also, that's the other thing I wonder with this, is it necessarily anti-Semitism? Because I do wonder if there's a part of the story that's just left out completely from both media and authorities, which is, could there be harassment, could there be bullying, could there be literal Zionism, or anything else? Like, could there be people who are much like the reform voters, because I imagine they're actually anti-Semites more so than the people on the left. But you probably have those people doing these things. So again, it's better to address the bigger thing in the problem, bigger thing in the room, rather than this, which by comparison is quite small. Am I missing something here? So yeah, I think that's also bullshit. Next thing, modernising the NHS. What do you mean by that? I've seen someone in the comments say they mean privatise, and that's not good. That's a death sentence as well for the UK, both for the cost of living, for bills, and for everything else. Because essentially about the NHS the way it is, although we need it improved, we need it to be better. And honestly, if we're talking about technology, I have to mention this. The technology for the NHS is shite. It is real bad. Just to put that out there for comparison, I have to go through so many fucking hoops to get to my own GP practice to, for example, get an appointment, but also get my bloody medication, because I've happened to need it this time because I have breathing problems. And they don't fucking do that properly, so I had to request it because they stupidly removed my diagnosis for asthma and breathing problems. And I've just had to manually request it. And so I just ended up being like really fucking awkward with that. It's like I'm not getting the help I need here. And then I tried to make an appointment for the breathing problems again to see if they can actually do something this time. And I have to wait over 3 fucking weeks. Like, what the fuck? So no, if you're modernising the NHS, you need to get more fucking people on board. That's one of the most obvious things, and then give them proper training. Because they obviously don't do a good enough job, hence more people coming there. Which, by the way, for my place, it shouldn't be that fucking long. It's rare that it's ever that long. Last I known, it was probably a few years ago. I had to pre-book for something that was like 2 months in advance. The fact this is happening amidst summer, and probably amidst handlebars, to be fair, which doesn't help things either. Modernising it needs to be done properly. So we're not just talking about like self-checkouts and stuff, we're also talking about being able to book an appointment where we need it, and if people obviously misuse it, by obviously not going into the appointment and fucking attending, then also those people should be fined. It's a really sad situation if it is the case and they are actually innocent, but these appointments are literally life or death in certain cases. Even then, I've heard so many fucking chilling stories about how people go to the doctors, not even necessarily in the UK, but other places, and they get no diagnosis, they get told there's something wrong with them, but we don't know what it is. And then they get something really fucking bad with them a year later that was really obvious, which was like, oh, you're having bowel issues, are you? Well, we just found out that's bowel cancer. What the fuck? How did they not even pick up on that? There is seriously something wrong there, so again, modernising it has to be right and not using AI. That's another thing. Because AI is probably going to tell you you have bowel cancer anyway, regardless of whether you have something like Crohn's or IBS. It issue doesn't fucking matter. AI is just going to ruin everything. And even then, modernising it, using something like Palantir, for example, is fucking stupid. That's surveillance, that's not modernising it. People know it's surveillance. Nobody here, well, actually, people here are stupid. That's a fair point. But I think the most rational-minded people wouldn't even engage in NHS at that point. They'd rather go private. They'd rather find something else. Because frankly, it's fucking stupid and dangerous to rely on something like that. Especially when Palantir can decide, oh, we found you're gay, we found you're trans, or we found you're black or an immigrant, and they'll fucking hunt you down. Are you kidding me? How is that modernising the NHS? That's more like Nazifying it, for lack of a correct term. Turning it into a fascist state is what that is. Yeah, that's disgusting. So no, I'm not 100% sure they can do that. Next thing, building better roads. You need to fix the ones you have at the moment, because they have a lot of potholes in. If you're building better roads, you need to stop traffic jams and shit. So that's the other thing. I actually, weirdly enough, before my appointment for getting benefits, weirdly enough, it caused an issue. We were waiting in the car. Well, not waiting, just driving, and we got stopped at a place that's like queued up right from the fucking roundabout to a place that I used to go to, like a restaurant. It's just not too far away from it, but still really far, and it's really long to fucking get through the queue. It delayed us by about 30 minutes, that fucking traffic jam. The problem is this is a single fault road. So, yeah, it took way longer than it should have. So if they are building better roads again, having them be pothole proof wherever it's possible, they need to do it properly. That goes without saying. If they're not doing it properly, then what the fuck are you doing? It just doesn't make sense. So I again fail to see how they will implement this right. Much like the other things, but this, again, is a niche issue. And I bloody hate potholes anyway. They're just really bad. They can cause accidents too. Like, people forget this, but if your car has bad suspension or can't handle potholes, then it can also cause accidents that way, but also people avoid it. They drive around it to avoid the suspension being damaged. Sometimes they have no choice, but that's not really a thing that can be addressed until obviously the potholes are. So no, I don't know if they can build better roads. You should really start with the ones that currently are struggling. Anyway, next one, harnessing nuclear. What do you mean by that? Because that can mean different things. That can mean either you're getting nuclear energy, which, no, that's probably not the preferred method, because renewable energy is probably the way to go. But we all know what happened with Chernobyl, and that's not going to inspire people. Even then, there's other power plants I'm pretty sure failed around the world. So nuclear energy may be off the cards, but they shouldn't be, obviously, what's it, I can't remember the word now for some reason, harnessing it. Also, if we're using it for weapons, then that's horrible. Why? Yeah, we might be heading towards a fucking nuclear war at this point, but what's it going to do if we're already fucking nuked? It doesn't make sense. So, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, but yeah. Anyway, that's basically what Labour said. Whether Labour do is a different thing. Obviously things that are agreeable, some are not. But again, it has to be seen to be believed. Some of these things. But I hope they're not doing just exactly what Reform are doing, which is just bouncing off billionaire backers and trying to incorporate the Trumpisms, essentially. Just taking a page out of Trump's textbook, whatever you call it. Or the Trump book, rather. It's probably a better way to call it. Yeah. So we have anything else to add? Trying to think. I'm tired. Yeah, someone said I got up too late or too late. Yeah, literally. Oz years ago, it didn't get it. A lot of people saying I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah, uh, I think this is just literally like crowd control from the loss of seats in the councils and local elections. Um, is concerning. So I think that needs to be. Uh, so they need to follow up on their words again. I've said and laid out what would convince me to change to the side of Labour for Greens. Basically, do everything the Greens do. And because obviously Labour are the more popular party, I'll be more inclined to vote them. Again, via a tactical vote. But at this point, it's not really worth it, and I think the trust is gone, and so I'm not even inclined to vote. You have to really do a lot to convince me that this is the right thing to do. Um, to be on the side of Labour. Um, so I don't know if I'm fucking tired, maybe I've worked out too much. Did quite a few reps today. I got some American thing here. American politics. Why not? Uh, so what was this here? I mean, he's done things he should be in jail for as a start. Oh yes, but he's talking about his lawyer, attorney. Yeah, that guy should be convicted for sure. Fucking absolute criminal for defending this other criminal. Yeah, also the self-admission is crazy. Ironically, he didn't have his fucking lawyer there, so he probably just fucked himself again, as Trump usually does. And there's another thing here which is crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your goddamn lunatic of a president. Impeach him now. And he's saying, Sleepy Joe was a Russian agent. He was invited to Moscow in 1987. That's when he became compromised. That's why Russia helped him steal the 2020 election from me. They even used China to spread the fake COVID virus using 5D towers inside Wayfair furniture. The Joe Biden that sometimes did press conference was actually Barack Hussein Obama in a very well-made Hollywood mosque. Everyone knows that. Thank you for the attention to this matter. Jesus fucking Christ. Like, I don't even know how this person. I'm not sure if it's person at this point. Trump is pretty much a fucking AI, has to be said. It's literally what an AI would probably say. But as usual, he's a fucking embarrassment. And yeah, something needs to happen to him. Not sure what, but something. And it means that he needs to not be president anymore. So yeah, frankly, this is unacceptable. And the irony is he's making a phone that also probably uses 5G, and he's spreading the virus again. This is the idiocy of this fucking president. Do people really not realise how stupid this is? I just don't want to fucking understand it, and it feels like he's reflecting as well. Deflecting, rather. No, reflecting actually, is it? No, projecting. Fucking hell, that's tough. Saying Joe Biden was invited to Moscow in 1987. You do fucking realise that was before Putin, right? I'm pretty sure it was. Even then, I think there was like fears and worries about obviously war with Russia, but it still wasn't a big deal back then. I don't think. But even then, it's probably Trump that was there, not sleepy Joe Biden. It's like 99% sure it's Trump. But also the irony of saying that Joe Biden's sleepy when you yourself have fallen asleep on live television more than 20 times at this point. So again, it looks really bad in the face of what you're doing. It's just so fucking hypocritical and stupid at this point. And yeah, I'm someone who could be convinced by good things that someone does or good arguments that they make, but this, again, is a really stupid argument. I don't think I've ever even had a conversation with someone online who's actually stupid who's ever said something this dumb. I don't think I ever have. It's fucking nuts. So, yeah, I think it's that really. Anyway, need to move on. Do I? Hang on. How many videos have I got? Where the fuck is my videos? There it is. 15.6 gig. Okay. I think I'll make an outro then. So yeah, that's that topic. Thanks for listening. I guess I'll see you all next time.